Matter is anything which has certain mass and occupies some volume. We call it as a matter. Matter is anything which has certain mass and occupies some volume. This matter is exists in three states, that is solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. Solid state, liquid state and gaseous state. Matter may exist in any one of these states. The chemical properties of matter will not depend upon the state or phase of the substance, but there is a difference in rate of the reaction. In which state that matter has to exist will depend upon certain intermolecular forces. These intermolecular forces does not include covalent bond forces or ionic forces. That means the force of attraction that related to covalent bond or ionic bond does not implies or does not included in the intermolecular forces which we are discussing now. So these intermolecular forces depend upon temperature and pressure, which are external factors. Basing on that only, the state of the matter will decide. So the important intermolecular forces other than due to chemical bond are first identified by Van der Waals, Johannes van der Waals. So on his name, these forces are called as Van der Waals forces. The important Van der Waals forces are dispersion forces or London forces. Second one is dipole forces. Third one is induced dipole forces. Fourth one is hydrogen bond. Of course, this hydrogen bond is part and parcel of chemical bond, so we can consider it as a special type of Van der Waals force. It's not exactly Van der Waals force, only these three are considered as Van der Waals forces of attraction. Basing on this only, the phase of the matter will decide. Let us discuss one by one. First one is dispersion forces or London forces. Dispersion forces or London forces. These forces are exist in non-polar molecules. Non-polar molecules or monoatomic molecules. We know, for example, if we take hydrogen gas. In hydrogen gas, we have two hydrogen atoms bonded together with a covalent bond. Now, in this hydrogen molecule, electron cloud will distributed like this. It is more in between the nucleus and less outside the nucleus. This is the situation of H2 molecule. We have another H2 molecule. There also we have the situation like this. That means electron cloud is uniformly distributed around the nuclei of the two bonded atoms. There is no specific charges because this electron cloud is equal distance for both the nuclei or around both the nuclei. Now, when these two molecules are nearer to each other, let it be molecule A and this is molecule B. Initially, this electron cloud is uniformly distributed around its nucleus. Suddenly, this electron cloud is distorted, and in one way it is increased and other way it is decreased like this. Because of that, a partial negative charge is developed here and partial positive charge in this direction. So this induced dipoles, this we called as induced dipole, because dipole is not there, but because of sudden change some dipoles were arised. This dipole is influenced this molecule, which is neutron. Because of that, here since a negative charge is concentrated in this end, in this molecule electron cloud will repel and here it will become like this. So this is negative and this is positive. Initially, these two molecules are non-polar molecules. When they are come nearer to each other, they bombarded with each other, they make some collisions and like that. Suddenly in one molecule, a polarity will arise. That means electron cloud will move in one direction than the other direction. So the direction where electron cloud is more, it will have a partial negative charge and other end will have a partial positive charge. So this non-polar molecule suddenly becomes a induced polar molecule. Because of that induced polarity, the neighboring non-polar molecule was influenced by it and it will also become a polar molecule. That means it's not a polar molecule, a polarity will arise. Because of this oppositely dipoles, these two will attract with each other. So this attraction is called as London forces of attraction. These London forces of attractions are existing non-polar molecules. London forces of attractions are existing non-polar molecules. Next, second type of van der Waals forces of attractions are dipole forces. This type of van der Waals forces are existing polar molecules like HCl, H2O, etc. In polar molecules, for example, if we take HCl, a polarity is present. That means chlorine molecule side you will have more electron cloud than hydrogen atom side in HCl molecule. Because of that, a partial negative charge will arise on chlorine side and partial positive charge on hydrogen side. In another molecule, we will have the same situation. So hydrogen. So the polar partially negatively end of another molecule will attract with partial positively charge of other molecule. Because of that, an intermolecular attraction will develop between those two compounds. So here previously the attractive forces are arise in non-polar molecules. In non-polar molecules, initially there is no polarity. Electron cloud is equally distributed around the nucleus. But suddenly in one molecule, electron cloud will concentrate in one direction than the other direction. In such cases, a temporary polarity will arise in molecule A. This temporary polar molecule induces the neutral molecule adjacent by it, and that molecule will also be polarized. Because of that temporary polarities, an attractive force will arise between those molecules. That attraction is said to be London forces of attraction. But here in the present case, these attractions are between polar molecules. The molecule itself are polar. Initially they are polar. That means in one end they have partial negative charge, other end they will have partial positive charge. So negative end of one molecule will attract the positive end of other molecule. So the attractive force that was present between the two polar molecules is said to be dipole-dipole interactions. They are said to be dipole-dipole interactions. First case, they are said to be London forces of attraction. And a third type of forces are dipole and induced dipole attractions. That means these forces exist in between the one polar molecule with another non-polar molecule. For example, if you take HCl molecule, in HCl molecule we have already polarity. In Cl side you have partial negative charge, here in this side you will have partial positive charge. Then another one is a non-polar molecule. So when this polar end enter into the come in contact with the non-polar molecule, this non-polar molecule, because of the induced dipole moment, it changes its strategy, so its shape, and electron cloud in this side will decrease and opposite side it will increase. So now this molecule will converted into polar molecule. Initially this molecule is non-polar, but because of the adjacent polar molecule, it get polarity, and the attractive force that present between these two molecules is said to be dipole and induced dipole attractions. These are the main three types of van der Waals forces of attractions that present in between the molecules. Because remember, whatever the properties we are observing here is not the property of an individual molecule. These are the properties of bulk of the matter, not the property of a single individual atom, a ion or a molecule. All observable properties which we are going to study now are the properties of a bulk of matter. Bulk of matter, not the properties of individual molecules or ions. So these forces of attractions in between the molecules will decide the phase of the matter or the state of the matter. This state of the matter, in other words, also depend upon another factor called thermal energy. Thermal energy is due to the motion of the objects, molecules. These molecules are in random motions. Because of that motion, they acquire the thermal energy. This thermal energy is quite opposite to van der Waals forces of attraction. Because van der Waals forces of attraction tries to bring the individual molecules or atoms together as one unit, whereas this thermal forces tries to divide the molecules or keep the molecules apart from one another. Van der Waals forces of attractions keeps the molecule closer together, whereas thermal forces tries to separate them apart. These thermal forces are directly proportional to temperature. When temperature increases, thermal forces will increases and energy of the matter will increase. When energy of the matter increases, it moves towards gaseous state. If energy matter decreases, it moves towards solid state. That means energy of the matter is least for solid in solid state, maximum in gaseous state. Liquids will have an intermediate energy. So this is the regarding the forces that were exist in the matter. Next, hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds, this is a special type of chemical bond. We cannot be considered it as a van der Waals forces of attraction because it is slightly less than, and a bond energy is less than covalent bond energy, but greater than van der Waals forces of attraction. This hydrogen bond is a special type of bond that was formed only when hydrogen atom is attached to highly electronegative and small size atoms like nitrogen, oxygen and fluorine. So, for example, if you take HF molecule, in HF molecule there is a partial negative charge on fluorine and partial positive charge HF molecule. There is a partial positive charge on hydrogen and partial negative charge on fluorine. In another molecule also we have partial negative charge and partial positive charge. Now partially positively charged hydrogen will have a electrostatic force of attraction between fluorine of the other molecule. This type of bond is formed by only by hydrogen, none of the other elements will have this type of bonds. So this type of bond is exclusively with hydrogen, only that also when it was form a bond with covalent bond with high electronegative and low small size atoms like fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen. So because of that hydrogen bond, the state of the substances may be liquid or in a solid state. Here at present state we are going to discuss about the gases. In the present topic, in the scope of our syllabus, we are going to discuss about the properties of gases. So the measurable properties of gases are volume, pressure, temperature, of course mass. Volume. When matter is in gaseous state, it will not have a fixed volume or a fixed shape. The volume of the gas is considered as the volume of the container in which the gas is present. For example, if I take certain amount of gas in a 10 cc bottle, the volume is considered as 10 cc. If I remove the cap, the gases has property to diffuse or and occupy the available space. They will spread throughout the room. In second case, the volume of the gas is considered as the volume of this room. So volume of the gas will depend upon temperature and pressures. So they are interrelated. Without any temperature and pressures, there is no meaning for a gas. It is interrelated. So generally this gas is expressed in liters. Or it can expressed in cubic decimeters. 1 liter will equal to 1 cubic decimeter. This will be equal to 1000 ml or 1000 cc, cubic centimeter or centimeter cube. And pressure. Pressure is the force applied by the gas molecules on unit area in a unit time. Force applied by the gas molecules on the walls of the container in which the gas is present in unit area in a unit time is known as pressure. This pressure is measured in atmospheres. Simply we denote it as ATM, atmosphere. 1 ATM will be equal to 76 centimeter Hg. That means this is the height of the mercury column in a barometer. Or it may be equal to 760 mmHg, or it will be equal to 760 torr, or it can also be expressed in pascals. It is equal to 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 pascals. So these are the units of pressure. Then temperature. The temperature, while studying the gaseous state, we use Kelvin scale. In Kelvin scale, this temperature is expressed, that is, the boiling point of water is considered as 373 Kelvin and freezing point is considered as 273 K temperature. That means when you convert into centigrade scale, 1 K is 0 degree centigrade plus 273. For centigrade scale, if you add 273, you will get Kelvin scale. The difference between the boiling point and melting point of water is 100 only. Even in centigrade scale, it is 0 is the freezing point, 100 degrees is the boiling point. The difference is 100. Here also difference is 100. But the mode of expression will have difference. Why we are adding 273, we'll discuss in the later classes. Now, mass. Mass of the gas may be expressed in grams or kilograms. But more conveniently, for calculations, we express the mass in terms of moles. In terms of moles. What is mole? We have a detailed discussion in later classes. So these are the measurable quantities of matter in gaseous state. Now we are going to study the laws which are involved, which shows the relationship between these measurable quantities of a given amount of gas.